right? You gotta get rid of this savior complex, this people pleasing. And that's what I realized I had. I realized I had a tendency to people please, to try to save people, whether it was women I dated, whether it was friends, to try to save people. But you see, you can't save people. People have to come to their own conclusions and growth on their own time. Hey everyone, this is Adam once again, and I'm here with a new video today for Wanderings. Today's video is called How I Lost My Friends and Why You Should Too. Something happened this summer. I was in California, and there, one of my old friends for 14 years, we had a falling out. And basically, he left me there in California on the side of a road in a parking lot. In this video, I explore the question of why do I keep attaching myself to people in such difficult situations in their life? What is it about me that I feel the need to try to help people, to save people, to change people that aren't willing to do the hard steps necessary to make the change for themselves? I first noticed this, I would say, about 5 years ago. That the friends I had, the friends that were cool, maybe a little out there, hippie-ish, interesting people, artists, musicians, I had been friends with a lot of these guys since my 20s. But one thing that I noticed as I was getting older was that those guys who hadn't worked on themselves properly, who hadn't taken the steps to really live their life with meaning and purpose, to really find a reason to live, and had gotten clean from substance abuse, those guys, every single one of them, have fallen by the wayside. Every single one. I can give you a laundry list. I'm down to maybe a few friends of those guys who are still living up to those sort of behaviors. You see, what was cool in your 20s when we were just hanging out and enjoying ourselves, partying, etc. Who were the cool kids then? Doesn't look so cool when a person's in their late 30s, early 40s, and full-blown addictions have basically taken over their life. Every single one of these guys have ended up either chronically unemployed or divorced. Now, don't get me wrong here. I have empathy for people with problems. You know, I went through a lot, I struggled a lot, and I also was friends with a lot of people and had people in my life, close family, that also went through problems. The problem is when we let people with problems so close into our inner circle, we get drugged down by them. As wise people say, you are basically the product of the people that you spend your time with. Sort of like, the family that you grew up in is going to make you a certain way. So too, as you get older, your friends really sort of become your family. And the type of people you let in your life is going to determine how happy you are, what kind of success you have. And if they're people who are at a lower level, meaning is they're not striving to make their lives better, to improve themselves, to get help, to live their lives with purpose, right? Then you're also going to be drugged down into that. I can't say that this process of shedding my friends has been easy for me. As we learn to set borders and barriers and push people out that are toxic to our lives, it gets easier and easier. It's like working out. You get stronger and stronger. If you're not feeling great about yourself and you're around super high achieving people, you're not going to feel great about yourself either. You need to be around people at your level in order to feel good. But that's the thing. Growth comes when we're outside of our comfort zone. It's better to play with athletes that are better than you. It's better to work at a work environment that challenges you. That's what causes you to grow. This whole idea of just accept me as who I am can really destroy a person. Matter of fact, I was always attracted to a certain teacher named the Baal Shem Tov, and I still am, a very holy teacher. He was known for was his equanimity, his love for every person in the world. And it was very troubling to me. I justified myself on why I was still hanging around with such difficult people. Because I said, the Baal Shem Tov, what would the Baal Shem Tov do, right? He loved every person. He wouldn't do this. But you see, I learned eventually that this was a fantasy and justification in my mind to keep allowing people in my life who were difficult to me. And therefore, I realized that you should never let yourself use an ideology of love to let yourself be destroyed by others. Even if you're a person who's in the helping profession and you're working with others, you can't take that work home with you at night. Right? That's what they always say. Don't take your difficult work. Don't take your work home with you at night if you are working in a difficult field of helping people. So how much more so should you not let those people into your life? Right? You can't fix anybody. You can't save anybody. Right? You gotta get rid of this savior complex, this people pleasing. And that's what I realized I had. I realized I had a tendency to people please, to try to save people, whether it was women I dated, whether it was friends, to try to save people. But you see, you can't save people. People have to come to their own conclusions and growth on their own time, and that generally happens after a big fall. And if you spend all your time with other people who are toxic and you're helping them in a way, it's called enabling. You're enabling them to live that lifestyle. So in a way, when you separate from difficult people, not only are you helping yourself, but you're also helping them. That is love. It's called tough love, right? It's called tough love. So I want to talk about a few stories that happened that really made me realize I needed to change. So I went to Israel and I was visiting a friend in a community. And this friend had gone through a lot. I should have seen the red flags. You know, when this person would call me, he was going through divorce. Every phone call would be about him. It would be about him. Half an hour of just blasting, blurting about his problems with his wife, everyone's against him, he's losing custody, this problem and that problem. I knew this guy liked to party a little bit, but when I went there to visit him, I hadn't realized that he had become an absolute full-blown alcoholic who was just drinking constantly, like every night a couple big cups of whiskey, and during the day beers, and it destroyed his life. He had tried Alcoholics Anonymous when he was married, and he basically came to the conclusion, he said, this is a cult, it's a cult. Everyone was wrong except for him. And I was with him on a Friday night, and he had this absolute abusive tirade against me where he was screaming and yelling, and he was going to kick me out of his house on a Friday night where I had nowhere else to go. And I had to persevere through the weekend, and then when he left to go to work on Sunday morning, I just left and found another place to stay for the rest of my trip. And it basically ruined my trip. But I would say is that hard experience woke me up. It woke me up to the reality of not letting people in my life who were toxic. And it also made me start examining my behaviors. Why is it that I'm hanging around with people like that? What are they fulfilling in me, right? And since that incident, and I started working on myself and changing myself and living the life that I wanted to live, moving forward in my life, then I was able to assess easier. I built on the borders and the barriers in order to assess easier who is going to be toxic in my life, who is toxic in my life. And it wasn't easy. And I had a number of these instances over and over and over again, probably 6 or 7 of them, culminating with this summer as the final one, where a friend with some deep emotional problems basically abandoned me in a small town in California. And that was when I realized, why did I let this person into my life? Why did I trust them that I was going to be staying with this person in their RV, right? Why would I do that? Why would I subject myself to that? To help this person? All it did in the end is hurt me and made it a disastrous situation. But in all these situations, the thread runs through is that I'm growing. And you realize sometimes you're happier without these people. You're always happier. Let me correct that. You're always happier. Now, I say I lost my friends and why you should too. What's the step here? What can I move forward? It's not going to help unless you are willing to do the question for yourself and what behaviors are you doing that are attracting you to these people? And who are the positive people in your life? Who are the people I can get close to, connect to? Who are the positive people? Who are the people who are going to enrich your life and you're going to be challenged to make your life better, right? Once you have to change yourself. That's the key. It's not just about shedding one toxic person and finding another toxic person. It's about shedding your bad behaviors, your bad thoughts, and becoming the person you want to be. And then you will find as your life gets better, as you're succeeding, as you're becoming the person you want to be, you will naturally have the boundaries and barriers built up to push these people out of your life. The people in your life are dragging you down. That doesn't mean you have to have some huge blowout with them and curse them out or anything like that. Don't be drawn down to that level. What it means is that you have to slowly kind of ghost them, push them out of your life when you realize that these people can't be the people that you want to be. Maybe they will change and they'll become great, and that will be wonderful, and you can have a reconciliation with them. But until you've done the work and they've done the work, it's not going to happen. And as I said, when people get in their mid-30s, early 40s, things change and they fall apart. I can tell you that every single one of my buds who was involved in this type of behavior have basically gone into a full-blown addictive spin where they've all gone off the hook. And it's sad. It's sad because I care about these people. But I also care about myself, my family, the people around me that are healthy. That's who I have to focus on. I can't fix others. I can't change others. I can only change and fix myself. And that's why you need to crucially examine yourself to ask why you're letting people who are toxic in your life, and what are they giving to you? What is it about you that is doing this? Because pushing them out isn't enough. You got to look at yourself. This is Adam Law with Wanderings. I'm always available for coaching and psychotherapy sessions. You can reach out to me. My contact information is below. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.